From the shadows of feudal Japan emerged figures so elusive that even history struggles to separate truth from legend. Whispered through secret scrolls and guarded by silence, the ninja were never meant to be seen, only felt. When a powerful lord fell mysteriously ill, when a fortress was breached without a sound, or when vital intelligence vanished overnight, suspicion often pointed toward the unseen hand of the shinobi. Popular culture paints ninja as black-clad assassins leaping across rooftops, blades flashing under the moonlight. But the real story is far more unsettling and far more fascinating. Historical ninja were not reckless killers chasing glory. They were calculated specialists trained in stealth, deception, and psychological warfare. Their greatest weapon was not the sword, but invisibility, the ability to move unnoticed, gather intelligence, and strike only when success was guaranteed. In an era defined by constant warfare, shifting alliances, and political betrayal, assassination was not chaos, it was strategy. Ninja operated where samurai honor could not. They infiltrated enemy strongholds, spread misinformation, sabotaged supply lines, and when necessary, eliminated key targets with chilling precision. Every mission was planned with patience, restraint, and an understanding that survival mattered more than spectacle. This is not a tale of cinematic fantasy. This is the real history behind legendary ninja assassinations, stripped of Hollywood exaggeration and grounded in documented tactics, historical records, and the brutal realities of feudal Japan. We will explore who these assassins truly were, how they operated, and why their methods were so effective that their legacy still echoes today. Step into the shadows and uncover the lethal art hidden behind silence. Because the most dangerous weapon is the one you never see coming. The origins of ninja assassins are rooted not in myth, but in necessity. During Japan's turbulent Sengoku period, the country was fractured by constant warfare, political betrayal, and shifting loyalties. Samurai armies clashed openly on battlefields, bound by codes of honor and visibility. But behind the scenes, a different kind of warfare was unfolding. Quiet, invisible, and far more flexible. Ninja, historically known as Shinobi, emerged from regions where survival demanded adaptation. Mountainous areas such as Iga and Koga became centers of unconventional warfare. These communities lacked the military power of great clans, so they developed alternative methods: intelligence gathering, sabotage, infiltration, and targeted elimination. Assassination was not their primary role. It was a tool used only when strategy demanded it. Unlike samurai, ninja were not bound by rigid social codes. This freedom allowed them to exploit shadows, disguises, and misinformation. They blended into villages as farmers, monks, merchants, or servants, patiently observing targets for weeks or even months. When an assassination occurred, it was often subtle. Poison introduced slowly, an accident engineered carefully, or a single silent strike meant to leave no witnesses. Historical records suggest that ninja assassinations were rarely dramatic. Their purpose was efficiency, not terror. Eliminating a messenger, delaying a commander, or removing a political figure at the right moment could shift the balance of power without triggering open war. In this sense, ninja were not chaos agents, but precision instruments within a larger strategic framework. Understanding their origins reveals a crucial truth. Ninja assassins were not monsters hiding in darkness. They were products of instability, innovation, and survival. Masters of indirect warfare in a world where silence could be deadlier than steel. When people imagine ninja assassinations, They often picture flying shuriken and dramatic sword fights. The historical reality was far more restrained and far more dangerous. Ninja weapons were designed not for spectacle, but for efficiency, concealment, and control. Every tool had a specific purpose, and killing was only one of many possible outcomes. Shuriken, often misunderstood, were rarely lethal on their own. These small blades were distraction tools used to wound, slow, or force an opponent into a defensive reaction. A cut to the face or hand could create the opening needed to escape, infiltrate, or strike with another weapon. In some cases, shuriken were coated with toxins or filth to increase the risk of infection, rather than immediate death. Swords used by ninja were practical, not ceremonial. Shorter blades allowed movement in tight spaces, such as corridors, rooftops, or forest paths. Contrary to myth, there is little evidence of a standardized ninja sword. Instead, Shinobi adapted common weapons, modifying grips, sheaths, and carrying methods to suit stealth operations. A sword was a last resort. Silence mattered more than honor. Hidden blades and improvised weapons were often more important than steel. Knives concealed in sleeves, hairpins sharpened into spikes, weighted chains, or even farming tools repurposed for combat allowed ninja to blend into civilian life while remaining lethal if necessary. Poison, however, was one of their most effective methods. Slow-acting toxins introduced through food, drink, or wounds could eliminate a target without immediate suspicion. The defining feature of ninja killing methods was restraint. The goal was not to overpower enemies, but to remove obstacles quietly and disappear without consequence. In the world of the ninja, the most successful assassination was the one no one realized had ever happened. Stealth was not a talent, it was a system. For historical ninja, remaining unseen mattered far more than fighting skill. Their true strength lay in preparation, deception, and psychological control. A successful mission was one where no weapon needed to be drawn. Disguise was one of the ninja's most powerful tools. Contrary to popular imagery, Shinobi rarely wore black outfits. Instead, they blended into everyday life, posing as farmers, monks, merchants, laborers, or servants. Clothing, posture, speech patterns, and even regional dialects were carefully studied. The goal was not to look suspiciously invisible, but completely ordinary. The best disguise was one that invited no attention at all. Movement techniques were equally calculated. Ninja avoided dramatic rooftop leaps and acrobatics unless absolutely necessary. They favored shadows, natural cover, weather conditions, and timing. Rain, fog, festivals, or nighttime patrol changes were ideal moments to move unnoticed. Footsteps were controlled, breathing regulated, and routes planned in advance, often with multiple escape paths memorized before an operation began. Strategy always came before violence. Intelligence gathering was the primary objective. Ninja observed guard routines, building layouts, political tensions, and personal habits of their targets. Assassination, when it occurred, was usually the final option after surveillance, manipulation, or sabotage had failed. Many missions aimed to spread fear, confusion, or mistrust, rather than eliminate a single person. Psychological warfare played a quiet but effective role. Subtle signs, an unexplained sound, a missing object, or a warning left behind could destabilize an enemy without bloodshed. Fear weakened defenses faster than blades. In the world of the ninja, patience was a weapon, anonymity was armor, and victory meant leaving no trace. Their mastery of disguise and strategy transformed them into shadows within society, present, influential, and almost impossible to detect.
Few historical figures have been as heavily mythologized as the ninja. Modern films, anime, and video games portray them as black-clad superhuman assassins, masters of impossible acrobatics, vanishing in clouds of smoke, armed with exotic weapons and mystical powers. While visually striking, this image is largely a product of modern storytelling rather than historical fact. In reality, ninja were not elite warriors equal to samurai in open combat. They avoided direct confrontation whenever possible. Hollywood's obsession with dramatic sword fights and mass assassinations ignores the core principle of shinobi work: survival and success without detection. A dead enemy meant little if it exposed the operative or triggered retaliation. The iconic all-black outfit is another misconception. This costume originated in Japanese theatre, where stagehands wore black to signal invisible figures to the audience. Later, popular media adopted this visual shorthand, cementing it as a false historical norm. Actual ninja dressed to blend into their surroundings, often appearing indistinguishable from common townspeople. Weapons are also exaggerated. Shuriken are frequently depicted as deadly throwing stars used to kill instantly. Historically, they were distraction tools, used to wound, intimidate, or slow a target, not to execute them. Smoke bombs, poison powders, and small tools were far more practical than oversized blades or elaborate gadgets. Pop culture often presents ninja as lone wolves. In truth, they operated within organized networks, relying on support systems, intelligence sharing, and long-term planning. Their strength came from coordination, patience, and adaptability, not individual heroics. The romanticized ninja of entertainment reflects modern fascination with mystery and rebellion, but it overshadows the true brilliance of historical shinobi. Their legacy lies not in spectacle, but in discipline, restraint, and a deep understanding of human behavior. The real ninja were not legends in the spotlight. They were shadows shaping events quietly, leaving history to wonder how it all happened. Although the age of feudal Japan has long passed, the legacy of the ninja has never truly disappeared. Instead of fading into history, their methods, philosophies, and influence quietly evolved, adapting to a modern world that still values intelligence, discretion, and strategic thinking. Today, the ninja no longer exist as covert operatives serving feudal lords, but their principles live on in unexpected places. Modern military strategy, intelligence agencies, and even corporate security draw upon concepts that echo shinobi doctrine: information control, deception, psychological advantage, and risk minimization. The idea that knowledge is more powerful than brute force remains as relevant now as it was centuries ago. In Japan, historical ninja traditions are preserved through research, museums, and specialized schools dedicated to studying ninjutsu as a cultural discipline rather than a combat system. Towns such as Iga and Koka have embraced their shinobi heritage, offering documented insights into real ninja practices, separating history from fantasy. Scholars continue to analyze ancient manuals, revealing how sophisticated and pragmatic these operatives truly were. Beyond academia, the ninja's influence dominates global pop culture. Films, anime, games, and literature have transformed the shinobi into a universal symbol of stealth, rebellion, and mastery. While often exaggerated, this fascination reflects a deeper truth. Society remains captivated by those who operate unseen, shaping outcomes without recognition. More importantly, the ninja legacy teaches a timeless lesson. True power does not always announce itself. It moves patiently, adapts to circumstance, and understands human behavior. In an age overwhelmed by noise and visibility, the ninja philosophy of restraint, observation, and calculated action feels almost revolutionary. The real shinobi may have vanished from the shadows of history, but their mindset endures, reminding us that influence does not require attention, and mastery does not seek applause. Sometimes, the most decisive forces are the ones history barely notices at all.